Hi, everyone. Happy Inauguration Day, and I'm here to give you some updates on what President Joe Biden has released in terms of news on immigration. It's been 4 years of very dark news under the Trump administration, but we finally are in the light at the end of the tunnel and have some wonderful announcements to bring to you. So I'm first going to talk about the executive orders, which are things that the president can sign off on right away that can go into effect right away. And then secondly, and perhaps the most exciting thing we've seen today, is the formal introduction of Biden's immigration plan in the form of a bill that's going to go to Congress. So that bill obviously has to get approved by both houses, but it is very robust and has a lot of things that us immigration attorneys have been hoping for a very long time. So I will be updating you all on that. If anyone has any questions, as always, you can contact us on our Facebook or Instagram, or by calling our office or emailing anyone on our website, and we'll post all that information afterwards. We're also going to be doing Facebook Live sessions every Friday to answer any questions that you have on any of the changes that we're going to be seeing coming about in the next few weeks. So first, let's talk about executive orders. So these are the things that should go into effect right away, if not almost immediately, that can start benefiting people right away. So the first executive order is aimed at reversing Trump's policy on excluding undocumented people from the census count. So that means that undocumented individuals living in the U.S. will count towards the census, which will help with congressional apportionment of representatives. So that was good news. Secondly, he recommitted to protecting the DACA program. That's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. So again, that was under threat for much of the Trump administration, and he committed to protecting that. That is also going to lead into the legislation that aims at granting permanent protection for Dreamers. So I'll get to that later, but in short, the good news on that right away is that the DACA program will be intact and will be protected and able to continue under President Biden. Next, long expected, but still good news, he is ending the Muslim ban, which restricted travel for certain individuals in largely Muslim countries. So that is going to be done away with, and there will be no restrictions for that. Next, this is, I think, something that will affect a lot of our clients, and it's going to be fantastic. So he is ending Trump's enforcement priorities, or lack thereof. So basically, under Trump, there was no rhyme or reason to who might be stopped by immigration. He was targeting everybody. Didn't matter if you had, U.S. citizen, husband, wife, children, parents. He did not take any of that into account and just was targeting everybody, which led to a huge backlog and a lot of humanitarian concerns. So we imagine, we don't have the plan yet, but it seems like under Biden, we're likely to go back to similar enforcement priorities that President Obama had, which would aim to really only target for arrest and detention and deportation those with serious criminal issues, or perhaps multiple immigration violations, terrorist or gang affiliations, and things like that. So the vast majority of undocumented people in the U.S. are probably much safer now. We have yet to see what that officially looks like, but we're very excited about that. He is also stopping construction of the border wall and evaluating how to redirect those funds, which many of us think are a huge waste of money. So that will be exciting to see how that rolls out. And then lastly, he is extending deferred enforcement departure for Liberians, which is a special program benefiting certain Liberian nationals. And that is being extended through June 30th of 2022, with the aim of also improving the application process. So those are a very quick summary of all the executive orders that are expected to be rolled out on day one. We expect obviously many more, so we'll keep you updated on that. But next, I would like to turn to the, I think, more exciting news of the immigration bill, which is being sent to Congress. So first thing on that bill is a robust program for undocumented individuals to begin applying for status. Basically, the majority of undocumented immigrants will be able to apply for temporary status in the U.S. if they were here on January 1st, 2021, with an 8-year path to citizenship and green card eligibility after 5 years. The requirements, again, are that you were here on January 1st, so on New Year's of this year, but certain individuals who were deported from the US, so they're not here due to a recent deportation, may be still able to apply for purposes of family unity or humanitarian reasons. So certain individuals that were deported under Trump might still be eligible to come back and benefit from this program, which again, I would recommend anyone consult with a lawyer on that if that bill is passed to see if that might benefit you. People who have DACA, TPS, which is temporary protected status, and certain farm workers will, under this program, immediately be eligible to apply for green cards, and after 3 years be able to apply for citizenship. So right now, if you have a spouse who's a U.S. citizen, you can apply for citizenship after 3 years, but otherwise, no other category or very few other categories can. So that will be a quick path to citizenship, hopefully, for those who have DACA, TPS, or fit one of the farm worker requirements. Next, it changes the language in immigration laws from alien to non-citizen. So immigration advocates have long hated the use of the word alien. It's very dehumanizing. It will be replacing that language in the statute with a non-citizen. Next, it will reduce the wait time for family-based immigration. It's a little bit complicated how that's being done, but just know that there would be more availability for certain categories of family-based immigration applicants, meaning if you have, for example, a spouse who's a lawful permanent resident or maybe a parent who is petitioning for you, it should cut down the wait times for that. Next, and this is very exciting too, it's proposing for the elimination of the 3 and 10-year bar. So many people are affected by this. If you've been here unlawfully for a certain period of time and you leave the US, you're barred from coming back in for 3 or 10 years. Stops many people from applying for green cards that otherwise would be eligible. So that, I imagine, will benefit a lot of our clients. If you've heard the 3 and 10-year bar before and you think it might apply to you, you should think about examining whether or not this bill might help you in the future. It also explicitly includes permanent partnerships for LGBTQ plus families. So protections for those in that group are cemented now in the immigration law. It expressly prohibits discrimination based on religion. So I think this is aimed at preventing things like the Muslim ban from being able to go forward in the future. It expands funds for integration, inclusion, assistance, and English language programs for immigrant and refugees. So there should be more resources for community programs and nonprofits to be able to assist immigrants and refugees. It increases the employment-based visas and reduces wait time and eases the process for STEM students, so those in science, technology, engineering, and math. Again, that's a little bit complicated how that plays out, but just know that there's going to be hopefully better availability of employment-based visas. It eliminates the 1-year deadline for asylum. So many people are ineligible for asylum because they did not apply within 1 year. That's something that we run into all the time. So it's eliminating that requirement. So in practice, that will help a large number of people who perhaps were not able to apply within their first year of arriving in the US. This is very important too. It increases protections for U visas, T visas, and those applying under the Violence Against Women Act, specifically tripling the number of U visas available every year. So anyone that's waiting for a U visa knows that the wait is around 4 or 5 years right now. So increasing the number of visas by 20,000 will hopefully drastically reduce those wait times, which is fantastic. And then it increases labor protections for immigrants, expands U visa relief for those exploited in the labor context. It supplements border resources with technology and infrastructure. Again, we won't get too into the nitty-gritty on that. It provides for more training and oversight of Customs and Border Protection, which again is an agency that has had a lot of human rights violations and sexual assault charges, other issues with that agency. So we're curious to see if that's going to be far enough, but at least there's a goal of reforming that agency. It increases prosecution for smuggling and trafficking and addresses root causes of migration in Central America. So As many of you know, there's been a large number of immigrants coming from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras in the past 3, 5, 10 years due to gang violence, domestic violence, and poverty, and climate change related issues down there. So there's going to be a lot of money hopefully going into helping those countries, which in turn would decrease the need for migration. And lastly, it aims at improving the immigration courts, immigration judge training, and reducing the backlog. Again, we have yet to see the specifics on that and how they will play out in that agency, but there is a goal of making those reforms. So that is the very quick summary of our good news today on immigration. I look forward to getting any questions from any of you and from giving more updates in the future. Thank you.